Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the galaxy, welcome to Geek Syndicate episode 302. I am the man Monts, and with me is the man...
I'm the second man, the man that's Nuge, not to be confused with our man Flint.
Oh man, Flint was tough. Anyway, yeah, we are Geek Syndicate, bringing the sass back to geekdom. Sorry, man. See, I don't know, people probably listening might not remember our man Flint.
Nah, James Coburn back in the day.
Yeah, that was America trying to give an answer to James Bond, wasn't it?
See, I always saw our man Flint almost a bit like James Bond crossed with Doc Savage. And people who don't know who Doc Savage is, I feel for you. Take pause, take a moment, hit YouTube, type in Doc Savage or Google, and then come back. But yeah, because what I like about our man Flint, sorry, we're already digressing, but it's because Bond was supposed to be this kind of cold spy killer, all this sort of, whereas like Flint could do anything.
Yeah.
I think if I remember, he had a cigarette lighter that had something like over 700 different functions or 75 different functions. It's something crazy like that.
I remember that he used to do this kind of meditation thing, so he could like fit like a whole night's sleep into like a couple hours or something. And to wake him up, he had this watch, and this little kind of hammer came out and just did a little pattern on his wrist, and that would wake him up.
No, it was to because in one of the films they think he's dead and they check a pulse and they think he's dead, but it's because what he does is he slows his breathing down so much, like his heart rate down so much that you can't detect a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then he needs that thing to kind of I'll tell you, man. They were some films, man.
Oh,
also, man. I was weirdly about 3 or 4 months ago, I was on a proper Arm and Flint tip because I was listening to you can get the album on Spotify.
What?
Mate, you haven't lived to listen to the album, man. When I tell you about pure sass, that album just drips with it, man.
Okay. Man, see, I've just got this big grin on my face now because it's just taking me back. You know what I mean?
So, for people in the cheap seats who haven't been listening to us for a while, because obviously we haven't been around for a little while.
Yeah, life.
We're going to try and put these out at least monthly. If you get more, you're lucky.
You lucky people, you.
So, do we need to tell people what Geek Syndicate is again? Should we just get straight into it?
Let's just do a very quick intro to Geek Syndicate.
Okay. Geek Syndicate's all about
Let's think about this as a jumping on point. Okay,
jumping on point. Like all the best comics. It's not a reboot though. We're both still black.
Yeah. Do you know what? It just clicked what you said. It's like, wow. Yeah,
because technically, if they were going to reboot us, it would be two white dudes, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably be two white women, to be honest.
Good point.
Yeah. Just saying now, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So Geek Syndicate is a long-running podcast with me and Barry, just basically talking about the things we love, all to do with geek stuff, be it science fiction, be it comics, be it books, be it whatever the medium. Doesn't matter. If we love it, that's what we're talking about. But it is in that realm of science fiction and fantasy and that kind of thing. That's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, or the genre.
Yeah. So what we'll try to do is maybe from now time to time we'll give a little bit of news. We will talk about the week that was, the things we watched / read / listened to in the week just gone. And it'll always be, and we'll try and focus on one thing to have a big discussion about. We often digress because we are far too interesting to stay to our plan sometimes. But, there you go.
We also have no plan, which probably doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah, which would be our downfall come the zombie apocalypse. Sorry, come the inevitable zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I've got a plan for the zombie apocalypse, though.
What is that?
Shut all the doors and windows and don't open the door if anyone knocks on it. Hope it will and wait till it blows over.
I've got to say, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Do you know what I mean? And the way I look at it, it's going to take a little while for civilization completely falls apart, which means I should still be able to get
I know it happens proper quickly in the movies.
I should still be able to get Deliveroo to my house. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you ain't opening the doors, you're in trouble.
Yeah, but I'll make an effort.
You need to start putting an allotment in your garden.
No, I've got one of them peephole things. So when he rocks up with my KFC delivery, I'll know it's him. And obviously, if his head's lolling to one side or whatever, I know he's a zombie, so I won't open the door. Or I open it, snatch the KFC, and kick him with his throat.
Do you know what? I was about to. I bet you're going to kick him. You're going to open the door, grab your stuff, and kick him back into the road. That's the Barry I know and love.
Do you know what? And a complete side, you know that bird, is it Bird Box?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit in there where, like, my problem watching those films is what I realise is that I'm a terrible human being. Because I always end up siding with the one guy who's like, what are you opening the door for?
Yeah, I know. Why are you surprised by this revelation about yourself?
I know.
I could have told you that.
It's taking me now 50 years to realise.
To be fair, over time, I've become a lot harder because I've seen those mistakes play out again and again.
Yeah. It's have to get hardcore, but I'm telling
you. Yeah.
Anyway,
where we starting?
Let's get cracking on with some news, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for the GS News.
The news that I've got is it's a mixed bag of comics and TV. No film.
Mixed bag. Yeah. Go on, give us your
mixed
bag.
The first one. So our old buddy Shane Chesney.
Oh yeah.
Not to be confused with Chesney Hawks. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole heap of people who don't remember who Chesney is.
Yeah,
leave that one there, shall we?
Yeah.
Showing your age today, man.
That's going to get caught in the edit, I'm sure. So he's fronting at the moment a brand new comic convention, well, it's a comic festival really, called Comic Salopia.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I'm not going to be able to attend this because I'm going to be away celebrating my 50th birthday. But this is taking place in Shrewsbury, and the blurb for it reads, Comic Salopia is a huge international free entry festival taking over the entire town of Shrewsbury, celebrating the medium of comic art in all its forms, with some of the biggest names in comic art attending, speaking and drawing at an extensive range of fun, inclusive and inspiring events for all the family. God damn it. So yes, this is going to be spread sort of across Shrewsbury, and they've got some of the venues they've got it's going to be set in some of the castle grounds, prison, university, museum and art gallery. One of the people who's kind of helping Shane put it together is Charlie Adlard of Walking Dead fame.
Yeah.
Who and the former comics laureate, I believe. So people who are going along, there's also going to be film screenings, Jedi fight training, face painting, small press comics market.
Jedi fight training. In fact, I saw an article the other day that said in France, lightsaber fighting's now officially recognised as a sport.
Just another sport I'm going to be rubbish at.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll stick to table football as foosball as it's known across the waters.
Yeah,
Carry on.
Stick to my Xbox One. Interactive Judge Dredd event, which sounds well interesting. I know what that's about. Live music, boat trips, a zombie walk. We'll come back to that. Cosplay competition, live art events across the weekend. So circling back around to Zombie Walk, my concern about that is I'm assuming it's going to be people dressed as zombies walking slowly. But I'm not chipping zombies a la 28 days later. My issue with that is if this happens to coincide with a zombie apocalypse, as you mentioned earlier, people in Shrewsbury are going to be effed, aren't they?
I know, it's all
they ain't even going to know.
It's all to do with bad timing. And the inevitable zombie apocalypse is not going to be beholden to your timing. So if you're in the middle of a zombie walk and the inevitable zombie apocalypse happens, you're screwed because you ain't going to know who's safe.
Yeah, and people are going to be applauding, going, "Oh, look at the realism of that!
So realistic.
That guy's tearing his throat out." I don't know how they did that.
How do they do that?
Yeah,
you all haven't thought it through.
Nah. So
that's living on the edge, man.
Yeah, even if I could attend, I would attend, but I wouldn't be attending Zombie Walk. That's when I'm heading home.
Yep.
That'd be.
Yep. Well, the thing is, I might attend the Zombie Walk, but I might end up in prison for murder because, I was just defending myself. You gotta go for the head.
Standard operating procedure.
Everyone knows this.
Shane has already released some of the guests that are going to be attending. Oh, and I should say this takes place on the 1st and 2nd of June, which is following my birthday, which is 31st of May. See Amazon for my 50th birthday wish list. No pressure.
So we're totally distracted there. I'm sure you said something important, but I completely missed it.
Yeah, that's per usual. So you've got Charlie Adler, John Allison, Dan Berry, Al Ewing, Mark Jackson, Ruth Fletcher Gage, Christos Gage, Duncan Fregado, Turler Kirkman, Kieran Gillian, Sarah Gray, Lou Stringer, Sarah McIntyre, Scott McLeod, Brian Talbot, Ben Steinbeck, Greg Staples, Mary Talbot, Christian Ward, John Wagner. That's just some of the names so far. And that's some names.
That's some good names there, man.
That's some good, solid names. And obviously there's going to be, small press exhibitors and traders as well. So it sounds to me like this is going to be an epic event.
Absolutely.
So if you want to know more, I will put the link in the show notes, but it's comicsalopia.com. So yeah, head over there, check it out, take a look. And I've already spoken to Shane, and in the coming weeks, I'm going to get him on, have a bit of a chat with him about it, and see how it goes. But he's really excited about it. He said it's kind of like one of the biggest. It's turned into the biggest event he's ever put on, and he's been putting on a lot of comic events over the years. So fair play to him. I think we need more comic events like this. As much as I love conventions in general, full stop. But obviously there's been this sort of disconnect with comic conventions being a sort of byword for just getting along loads of TV and film stars and not necessarily focusing in on the actual comics. So the whole Comic-Con bit has been sort of taken over really, and I think it's kind of started with your San Diego Comic-Con. So I think it's quite cool that we've kind of got events which are just dedicated, or at least for the most part, to sort of comics.
Yep, absolutely.
Over to you, buddy. You got any news?
Nope.
Okay, back to me then.
Really, actually, I was just talking about Netflix cancellations.
Oh yeah.
So they've cancelled Punisher, and the other one, God, I've gone blank. It's half term, man. It's kicking my ass. I keep forgetting stuff. Yes, eggs.
And obviously,
but there's a third season of Jessica Jones, isn't there? And then it's cancelled after that.
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So obviously that means that now that's all of the Marvel shows are off Netflix. But what have you seen? Is it? I think is it Jeff Loeb?
Yeah.
A letter to
basically kind of said this is not the end sort of thing. Yeah. It's got to be. It's all coming to Disney's streaming channel. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. But and I suppose the question is, did they jump or were they pushed? The way he words the letter makes it sound like they were pushed. I'm less sure about that. Should that be? Yeah, maybe it was a mutually, a mutual agreement they came to. I don't know. But given how well Daredevil season 3 did, everyone loved season 3. To me, I thought season 4 was going to be a shoo-in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it would seem weird that Netflix would just turn around and just get rid of it just for the sake of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Because that's like one of its flagship shows, Iron Fist, I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
I know. You know what? I liked for the first time. I liked where it was starting to go.
I know,
but I get it.
Yeah. In this day and age, you kind of got to come with the goods almost out of the door.
Jessica Jones, to be honest, I was surprised that got a third season.
Yeah, the first season was fantastic.
Fantastic, loved that.
The second season was a little bit all over the place for me.
Yeah.
Punisher,
I thought after the first season, which I thought was brilliant, could have just stopped there. Didn't need any more. If they hadn't done any more, I'd be like, well, they had a great run. Because I'm like, okay, I've kind of told this story now. I've only watched the first couple of episodes of season 2, but part of me, I can't help thinking, I'm enjoying it, but it's just more of him just being broody and then getting into fights. And that ain't no bad thing in and of itself, but I kind of feel like I've seen it. Do you know what I mean? And what is interesting, is that I watched it and I found myself watching other things, and not because I didn't think those 2 episodes are great. I did, but I kind of felt like I've just been there before.
Right. Yeah, and I've kind of gone the same. I haven't even started watching Punisher season 2 because I watched season 1, which I really enjoyed. I take that back. It was a really good show. I don't know if I enjoyed it. It's the right term I would use. Maybe the term survived it is a better term. I don't know. But I felt going into season 2, and I watched the trailer for it, and I thought I kind of know what I'm going to get, which is just like unrelenting people getting their asses handed to them. And I just didn't know if I was like, if I had the kind of
a good place for it.
That's what I mean. I don't know if I was in the right place for it. That's not to say I won't ever watch it, but just right now I'm kind of seeking out shows which are just, even shows that are heavy, but they're heavy. They're heavy in a different way. You know, there's only so much of someone like just relentlessly getting their asses beat that I could take sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
And you're right, and I felt that the first season of Punch had such a great arc that you could have just ended it there, and I would have been happy.
Yeah.
And weirdly, with Luke Cage season 2, I thought together with season 1, it had a great character arc. And even though I won't spoil it for people who still may not have seen it, but even though it ended on a massive cliffhanger, it still felt to me like a culmination of a story.
Yeah.
And if it never came back, I was all right with that. You know, and I think we're in very different times now. And I think the days of me longing for shows to go on for like 8, 9, 10 seasons, Supernatural.
I don't really need. It's like, Supernatural, it hit that 5-year mark that it was going for. Perfect wrap up. I don't want to come back to things just for the sake of it. I want to go, that was an awesome story. I'm not going to forget that story. I'm going to tell my kids about that story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just because, it's changed. The face of it all has changed. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, back in the day, you didn't have no choice. That's why you ended up watching 10 years of Smallville.
Yeah.
There was nothing else. Now there's choice aplenty. And actually, we'll get into that and we'll talk about the week that was.
Yeah. Okay. So funnily enough, 2 quick bits of news, actually. One which ties into what you just said. So have you watched any of The Man in the High Castle, which is on Amazon Prime?
I've watched the first 2 seasons.
Okay, so you've watched it all then?
Oh, no. I've watched the first season and the first couple of episodes of the second season.
Okay. So I really like Man in the High Castle.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think season 2, it kind of came into its own. And certainly, for me, it went full on kind of pulp adventure in some parts of it. So for me, I just loved it. So they've now announced that. So they were filming season 3 anyway. I think they've just about finished filming it, and they've announced that it's the final season.
Oh, okay.
And I know
which I'm good with.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, oh no, but it had so much to especially, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you'll see as you go on. That's a show that could run conceivably for a number of seasons, like another 4 or 5 seasons if you wanted to. But for me, the fact that they've said that's it, the story's told after 3 seasons, it's going to end next season. I'm even more excited.
Yeah. Because you're ending my you know what it is? It's exactly the kind of way I think that I feel about DC and Marvel. I don't hate DC and Marvel. I don't hate their stories. I'm just like, I find myself less and less involved in stories that go on and on and on. And what I've found that I've watched the last few years is I've found stories written by great writers, drawn by great artists, and they're like 1 trade, 2 trades, maybe 3 trades, and they're done. And I've enjoyed that way of reading much more than stories that never end.
Yeah. You kind of come in, you read their couple of trades, they're done. You're kind of done with that particular story. You move on to something else, you know.
Yeah.
And you said we'll come into a bit more in sort of week that was. In fact, given the amount of news we've talked about, let's just hit it. Let's just get into week that was, man.
It's time.
Oh no,
it's not time.
Hold that thought. Thought bubble. So Thought Bubble, for people who don't know, is a massive comic convention. Takes place in Leeds every year as part of a kind of a larger festival, really. It's kind of like the culmination of this week-long festival. And people kind of see it as a bit of a nice way to end the year, with Thought Bubble. But what happened over the last couple of years, it sort of moved times. It moved from, it used to be in November, but it moved into September, which was good and bad. Because obviously it's early on in the year, bad because it did clash with a lot of other conventions, and that's been one of the sort of problems over the last couple of years with a lot of the Comic Cons have been sort of clashing with each other. But good news is they've announced their dates for November. Sorry, they've announced their dates, and it's moved back to November.
Okay. Nice response.
We don't have any more information at the moment, so I'm wondering if it's actually going to change venues. Because I know the last couple of years it was at different locations in sort of the town centre, Leeds town centre or whatever. And I'm wondering if that's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a centralised location. Just making it easy.
Yeah. So it's going to be the 9th and 10th of November. So as soon as we hear more information, we will let you folks know. But as you were, Dave, with week that was.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the week that was. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to do this one quickly. You're not going to spend much time with it. You and me, we've been friends for a long time, yeah?
You're right.
And when you tell me to watch something, I'll put that at the top of my list because I trust your recommendation. So it's not often that you sell me a turkey.
All right.
So me and Siobhan sat down happily to watch something that you'd recommended. And there's one bit where the main character's swimming in the wreck of a ship and a turtle comes out. And at the end of the show, Siobhan looks at me, she goes, I really enjoyed the turtle. She goes, I enjoyed the turtle more than most of the performances in that show.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
It was the first episode of the new Magnum PI.
Oh, okay.
She was like, yeah, the turtle was good. I was like, damn, that's harsh.
Okay, fair enough. I enjoyed it. And I think, good. Is that what you're saying?
So, I mean, Magnum it's a reboot it's a remake of an old series that I used to watch back in the day. And I thought on paper it was all good, but I didn't enjoy the performances, the writing, the setup. I thought the woman who played Higgins was brilliant. And I kind of watched it and I went, yes, all right. By the end of it, I was like, yeah. So that came off the list and I was like, and Siobhan looked at me, she goes, and Barry recommended that. I went, yeah. She goes, that's unusual. Because every time you say watch this, like we're both like, this is great, we're in. Do you know what I mean? So it was like
every so often.
But
for me, well, I say that. No, that's not true, because I think it's at the end of the day, it always comes down to personal choice. And I think for me, one of the reasons why I enjoyed it, I've watched about 4 episodes, is that what I realised was I was watching so many like unrelentingly dark.
And I think that's why I was looking forward to it, because it was something just lighter.
And I think you need to find your Magnum. And by that I mean, like, I just needed to have something. And what I've certainly found myself finding a few more shows like that, where I'll be watching some other shows like Punisher or something like that, and just the fact that they're a little bit like Hawaii Five-0 when it first started, just the fact that there's somewhere like that's sunny and people are actually laughing. And
I'll be honest, that's why I watched Death in Paradise is not a great show.
Oh well, I'm sorry, man. If you're gonna put up if you watch Death Against whatever it's called, Death in Paradise against Magnum, I mean,
I can't even argue. To be fair, I've been watching it, and number one, I'm getting frustrated because I keep seeing people I know, and I'm like, what about me, man? But yeah, I literally can't. I like it because there's like the music just makes me feel good. The fact that it's sunny and bright, but I'm struggling more and more. I can't actually justify it now, to be honest.
I think that's the thing. I think people you just have to find your show. And then sometimes there's shows that you watch, and I suppose it's the very definition of of a guilty pleasure.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like, as I said, I really enjoyed Matt, and I think because I went in with just no expectations whatsoever, you know, I was expecting it to be a literal car crash, and actually I was like, yeah, it was alright. It was just a bit light, a bit fun, bit of
But I remember,
nonsense.
I mean, not too long ago, you had stuff like White Collar, The Mentalist, and
Exactly.
they had darkness at its theme, at its center. It was a light and easy
Yeah.
watch, and I'm like, we're, and every now and again you'd get an episode which was like, wow, but I'm like, where's that now?
Yeah.
There's kind of nothing that's kind of like taken its place
Um,
still. Anyway, yeah. So let's leaving that behind. What have you got?
have you been watching The Expanse?
I'm behind. I've watched the first 2 seasons. Was it the 3rd season that was meant to come out on Amazon?
So the 3rd season has dropped on Amazon about 2 weeks.
I've watched the first 2 seasons and loved it.
Yeah. So The Expanse is based on a series of books. I can't remember who the books are by.
James S.A. Corey is the author of the Expanse novels.
So the blurb is hundreds of years in the future, things are different than what we are used to. After humans have colonized the solar system and Mars has become an independent military power. Rising tensions between Earth and Mars have put them on the brink of war. Against this backdrop, a hardened detective and a rogue ship's captain come together to investigate the case of a missing young woman. The investigation leads them on a race across the solar system that could expose the greatest conspiracy in human history. If that doesn't sell it to you, nothing's going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've read that blurb, but I'm like, do you know what? If I hadn't already watched the show, I would have just quit the Skype call. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as you said, the first 2 seasons are great. I watched the 3rd season. So, what I want to say about the first season is it is good, but it's also quite slow paced.
The first season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, slow pace has never actually bothered me. Well,
no, it doesn't.
It has, but it doesn't bother me that much.
It doesn't bother me, but I have to kind of. I feel like I have to say this for other people to a certain extent. It doesn't bother me, and I think because I'd read the first book, I kind of knew. And so I suppose even though it was slow paced, it didn't bother me.
Oh, I didn't realise you'd read it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, as I said, I've not read all of the books. I've just read the first book because someone I can't. It was a listener, and listener, if you're listening, I apologise because I can't remember who you were, but they actually recommended it to us, so I went and got the book. And first season was a bit slow, picked up, had some good action beats within there. Second season really ramped things up, I thought, really kind of, hit the ground running. Season 3, mate, you've got to get on season 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
All I'll say is, right, forget what I understand what you're saying about Magnum. I understand that. I understand I let you down. I apologise. I apologise to you, Siobhan. I understand that. I know there's a lot of pressure on me to give recommendations. But if you ain't texting me or ringing me when you watch episode 5, then I don't know you.
Man, I've just got such a list.
Mate, I'm telling you. Forget Magnum. Right.
All right, consider it forgotten.
Telling you, it was. This season was epic. It was epic.
Have you seen the whole season then?
Yeah, rinsed it.
Okay.
Which says a lot for me because I just moved everything. But what I realised about it is, so to describe it to people who haven't seen it, and sometimes I'm a bit. I don't always like to compare it to things because I think then people go in with preconceived ideas about something. But certainly this season, it feels like if you took Firefly, stuck it in the Battlestar Galactica universe. No, if you took Battlefly and stuck it in a universe that was kind of like a mix of Battlestar Galactica and Babylon 5, but without a lot of different aliens like in Babylon 5.
Cool. All right.
Because I think, I think it's really difficult to do military and political stuff sometimes because it's really easy for that to be boring, especially the political stuff. Phantom Menace. I found the political intrigue that was going on to be just as compelling as when it was like proper action kicking off.
Yeah.
Just the little manoeuvrings here, there, and everywhere, which was something that Babylon 5 and BSG nailed. And I just think I just think people just aren't talking about it, which is
No.
I think it's a real shame. You know, people are talking about all the stuff on Netflix,
Do
and
you know what? I mean, I found that with a couple of things. Well, actually, the thing like what am I talking about? What was it we talked about just a minute ago? Man in a High Castle. And I think because Netflix is kind of, I think, on top of the pile of streaming services at the moment, I think people are missing stuff on Amazon.
Yeah. Also, as well, I'll say if we move on, if you want to see how people handle diversity well, they don't put press releases out. They don't go, hey, look at us. They just do it. Go and watch The Expanse. I can't say any more than that. That's how you do it. That to me is a benchmark for how you do it. They just got on with it.
Got on with it and did it.
Just got on with it.
Instead of making a big fuss and just doing one tiny little thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whole show is like a tribute to that, to diverse. Sue, back to you.
I'm just gonna go retro with this.
Okay.
Because in my car, in my new car, we haven't got I can't plug my phone into it. So if I've got a big drive, I can't listen to anything on my phone. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what I've got in my house? I can't remember who bought it for me, but it's I've got this special presentation tin in the shape of a ring, and it was the audio version of Lord of the Rings that was on I think it was 1981. It was a radio play. And I've got it. So I've got it on CD. So I thought I'll just put it in the car, listen to it. And I had a long journey to do. Put it in. Man, that shit is good,
mate.
It's been decades. That shit is good. And Michael Hordern as Gandalf is tough.
Mate, let me tell you, right? I'm trying to remember now. There's so many lines in that audio production is still probably my favorite audio drama.
Absolutely. There's lines like, 'tis a night as long as
years. How long will the day tarry? Dawn is not far off, I fear.
and ever has been the hope of men.
You know what I mean? But dawn will not bring us any comfort. Joey, is it not said that no foe has ever taken the Hornburg while men defended it? Aye, so the minstrels say. Then let us defend it with hope. Joey, it's just like, you can't write that.
And that was the first time. That line, because none shall pass, and fly, you fools.
Yeah.
It just dropped.
And given the fact that, and I think that's probably where some of my love for audio dramas came from, because given the fact that, yes, we've got the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is amazing, the films and the special effects and whatever, but this was just audio, right? This was audio, and it was something like, it's like 14 hours.
Yeah.
And yet, at no point did I get bored. At no point could I not imagine what was going on and get swept up with it. And when the battles are quick, and I still say, even though I love the Lord of the Rings films, I still prefer the audio, personally.
Yep, true that.
Helm's Deep, the audio adaptation of Helm's Deep, the film version is good, not topping it.
And
52, now my score passes Legolas. Not so, it's been good knife work on the wall. My tail is now 20 or something like that.
The last one put a notch in my axe. The last one had a metal collar, put a notch in my axe. And you know what? The audio version of their journey through the mines of Moria?
Yeah.
That was tense.
It was, I tell you, it's proper, man. If there's anyone out there who loves an audio drama, hasn't listened to Lord of the Rings, the audio drama, the BBC dramatization, you need to go and seek out those bad boys, because it's amazing.
So what that made me do was look on my shelf. What's on my shelf? A DVD. Do you remember? And I think we saw this in the first year of junior school, or year 7 as they would call it these days. Lord of the Rings animated.
Yeah.
So I was like, I haven't seen that in I don't know how long. So I got that out and I popped it in. And do you know Anthony Baker, who's C-3PO?
Really?
No. What's his name? Who's the guy who's C-3PO?
Anthony Daniels.
Anthony Daniels. That's it. He's Legolas in that.
Really?
Yeah. But what was interesting about that, because it was the first use of a technique of using live action, which is kind of stenciled over with animation.
Yeah.
So as kids, we were watching that going, this is mad. A lot of it hasn't aged very well.
Right.
And it's such condensed storytelling that it loses a bit of the grandeur of it. And I only watched like a third of it, I think. I don't really know what I'm saying about it. I don't know if I'm saying, yeah, you got to see it. But I think I remember towards the end, it was pretty good. When the three hunters, actually, I could be mixing it up with the audio play.
No, you're mixing up with the three. If it's the three hunters, that's audio.
Yeah. So I don't know. It didn't. I don't think it's. It was amazing in its day, and it won awards. And I think as a bit of film history, if you like Lord of the Rings, so on, it's definitely worth a watch. But I'm not sure it stood up to time.
I think my takeaway from I haven't watched a cartoon in decades, but
It's 1981, Barry. That was the last time you watched it.
No, I think I saw it when it came on TV.
Oh, okay.
But I remember the orcs being proper scary because they were actually like blokes.
Yeah, they were.
But they'd sort of done something to make them shadowy and whatever. Yeah, they're even now, just thinking about it, it's just.
I'm gonna have to get through the rest of it now.
Yeah, wrong, man, wrong. And I think because they were going to deal with, and it just didn't work, did it? Did the guy? Is it Ralph Balsky?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Did he die or something whilst they were doing? I can't think.
No, I think he wanted to do the whole thing in one go, and the studio were like, no, you just got to put this out. And after that, I think money ran out. I think enthusiasm ran out. I think the wherewithal to do it ran out, and he just, so it didn't go where it could have done.
Have you seen that they're doing a film of J.R.R. Tolkien's life?
Oh, are they?
With the guy from who plays the Beast in the X-Men. You know, the sort of. No, the other X-Men, the sort of.
The other X-Men.
Oh God, I can't think what you call it. Yeah, First Class.
Oh
yeah,
guy who
plays Beast in First. That guy. I think his name's Nicholas Hoult. I think he's playing him.
Oh, I was gonna audition for that.
What, Tolkien?
Yeah.
Not as Tolkien though.
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna leave that there.
Okay.
But I think one of the things is you do. I think because the amount, like you said before, the amount of content that we have to kind of consume now, in every medium, be it games, be it comics, be it TV, be it film, is grown and grown and grown exponentially. Ooh, big word, Nuge. That sometimes we kind of forget. We kind of watch a film and then we kind of forget about it. Yeah. And the next film comes along and it's bigger, more dazzling. They've spent more money on it and stuff. But you know what, right? I still remember seeing that first Lord of the Rings film and going into it thinking there's no way they can pull this off. Yeah. No way. And coming out, and it got to the Balrog scene, and even though I was enjoying the film, I'm thinking there's no way they're pulling this off. And then just sitting there with my mouth open going, they did it.
Yeah.
And after that, they could do no wrong as far as I was concerned. I was like, you nailed that scene. I'm like, it's all good, And sometimes you forget just how well they did those films.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel a rewatch coming on.
Yeah, likewise, man. I've got the extended versions as well.
Yeah,
which
me too.
Unlike a lot of extended editions, actually were really good and put back in some really useful scenes.
Especially that second film, it really made the second film much more palatable for me.
Yeah, and certainly some of the travesties that they did with King Theoden.
Yeah,
that get addressed properly.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that one. Cool. Two things quickly. One is hold up, I've got a cat at the office door. Hang on. Steve, get in there.
Steve.
All right. Steve the cat's just joined us. Have you been watching that? So obviously you're watching Star Trek Discovery.
I haven't too much on my list. I haven't started the new season yet.
So I've watched. I think there's 4 episodes out on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I I think I've watched all 4. I think I watched episode 4 yesterday. It's even 4 or 5 anyway. And the reason I wanted to mention is I enjoyed season 1. It wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it. I'd be really interested to see how you find season 2, because it's a clear example of people going away, looking at criticism and going, you know what, we need to come better than that. And coming back with significant changes to the way they do the show. Really? Yeah. So I know we've had this, we've always had this whole debate of like Star Trek, and people have kind of said, Star Trek Discovery isn't Star Trek. Mm. It's too dark, too bleak, and it's focused on one character, and I think what they're trying to do with this second season is try to address those criticisms. Okay. And I think they're doing a good job with the way they're approaching it. Some people still aren't happy, but then you can't please everyone. That's always going to be the problem with these things, And I think with the Orville, which I am really enjoying, I think there's this whole push of people wanting to see effectively Next Generation, but with better special effects. Mm. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I really like about it is they've got a new captain in now. Hold on. Well, why'd you come in for in the first place then? Don't you backchat me, cat. Right. Go on. Cats. So they've got a new captain. He's Captain Christopher Pike. Ring a bell? Yep. Yep. And he's wicked. He's wicked. Okay. He's like a breath of fresh air. He feels, and I think what they're trying to do with all the characters, they're trying to make him feel more real, mm-hmm. and less, I'm just gonna spout techno babble. Right. And someone made a really interesting point, because what they've said was the way they're kind of, and they're trying to make it a bit more like a family, which is what was at the heart of all those Star Treks, is that team of people. And they're trying to do that much more in season 2. It's not really a spoiler, but there's even literally a bit in the first episode where the captain sort of says, let's go around and everyone tell me their names, because obviously he's the new guy, do you know what I mean? Mm. And then they go around the bridge crew, and it's the first, even though you've seen those characters the whole of the first series, it's the first time I actually heard them called out by name. I was like, oh, okay, nice. Do you know what I mean? So they started it and gone, you know what? We never introduced everybody. Because and I think because of what they were trying to do, and what they were trying to do that was different, was they were trying to focus in on that one character, which is Michael Burnham, and trying to show it from a different, and it worked and it didn't work. And I think what they're trying to do now is trying to kind of dial it back a little bit in how they do that. What some people have said, the downside is that Michael Burnham's character doesn't necessarily work in the new setup ensemble thing. Yeah. But I don't know, I think she does. And I think one of the things that I was thinking about this the other day, and one of the things that people are saying was that it's so, she's the one who comes up with all the solutions for everything and stuff like that. But then I thought about it, and I kind of thought, I see where you're coming from. But then I thought, but she's a science officer. Mm. Isn't she? She's a science officer, I'm sure. Yeah, that's right. That's what Spock did, didn't it? That's what Spock did. Spock was always like coming out with like, we could try this, Captain. We could do this, Captain. And so he was, a lot of the solutions kind of came from his neck of the woods anyway. So I was kind of like, well, I kind of get what they're doing there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still struggling with I'm still struggling with the whole idea of bringing Spock into it. I think it's completely unnecessary. He hasn't come into it yet, but personally, I just think even if he comes in, he's great. I just think it's completely unnecessary. Right. But then I thought it was completely unnecessary that she was related to Spock in the first place. It was just, it was just absolutely no. That's that Star Trek thing of making everyone connected, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's that Star Wars thing. It's that general thing now, isn't it, of shows now where they try to reboot. Everything's got to be connected. You could have done the same storyline with her being part of a Vulcan family because her parents had been killed off and blah blah blah. You could have done all of that. And I would have been fine with it. It didn't need to. She didn't need to be Spock's like half sister and all that. It makes no real difference, does it? No, it doesn't. And and the thing that makes me laugh as well is it makes no difference to new people coming into into the Star Trek universe.
Exactly.
It's just their first
I
thing.
know.
And there's a couple of moments where and I've seen it done in other shows where they do callbacks to things, and they even play a particular sort of music. It's that person that you know, but
Yeah, I don't need that nod.
oh, that was it. I'll say it in them well. Yeah, they bring in is number one, his first officer, and she was in the very first pilot.
Okay.
You know, like as in the character, not the actress. You know, when she walks on the screen, there's the music's almost like a kind of classic Star Trek music. You have to say, "Hi, kids, this is a big deal." But I'm like, most people, unless you're a big time Star Trek fan, you've watched that original pilot episode, or the trial of where Spock gets tried and they play like clips from that episode. You're not gonna know who that is. That all you're gonna know is that's one of his senior officers.
Yeah.
So it made no real difference to it. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I am enjoying it. And Umbrella Academy, we'll talk about it next episode. But I thoroughly loved it. Go watch it. Over to you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, tell you what, I'll leave it on. The last thing I'll talk about is I've mentioned before that what I'm loving about Netflix is exposure to sort of TV shows from other countries. And Siobhan and I are still watching The Protector, which is a Turkish kind of urban fantasy show. Loving that. Yeah. Still loving that. And I also watched Kingdom, which I told you guys about. It's set in medieval Korea. So there's a healthy dose of politics there, and the crown prince is trying to work out, why won't they let me see? There's a clan that no one likes who've kind of inveigled their way into power.
Mm-hmm.
And the queen is actually the crown prince's age, has married the king and is pregnant with his baby, but they won't let anyone see the king. And it starts off with the crown prince going, what's that? And he's a bit illegitimate. So if the queen has the baby, he's out of a job. You know what I mean? So he's like, I just need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And this clan, they're just being devious. And basically the queen's dad, who's the head of the clan, he's running things behind the scenes.
Right.
But it turns out this is actually a zombie story.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What's interesting about it is, come daylight, the zombies don't like the light. So come daylight, the minute the dawn hits, they start chipping for cover.
Right.
And them zombies are scared. Daylight come, they're done, and they're chipping for cover. And it's some disease that spread, basically. And so it's like all this is going. So you got all that political intrigue going on with the whole zombie threat, which is getting bigger. And they're like, how do we contain it to a region? So there's some pretty good. It's a great storyline. Yeah. The action's great. And there's one guy in it who's very mysterious. We don't know his past, but my boy is. If you want to see someone run, because some people are running, you're like, you ain't scared. You ain't running. You ain't scared. My boy corrupt, but also my boy's running into danger.
Okay.
And he is handy. My boy is handy. And I was just like, wow. This dude is brilliant. I'm just thoroughly enjoying it. So, but it's another one. I don't do this thing because you can switch it on Netflix and you can have the English dub, and I'm like, it just don't work.
Right.
I've got to have the original language, watch the subtitles. So yeah, I'm just loving Netflix for just making it easy for me to access stuff. But it's only 6 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's easy to do, but the cast is big. The amount of extras they've used, the art department have worked. And I looked it up, and there's a member of the art department died during production.
Oh, okay.
Of overwork.
What?
I was like, oh damn.
Wow.
So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I owe it to this guy, whoever he is, to just like see it through. But seeing it through ain't a problem. And I know the amount of money they spent on it, and it's already been renewed for season 2, and I couldn't be happier.
Okay. So on the skip, because obviously I'm done with Walking Dead. I watched the first season and it's too much for me. So on the bleak level scale, where does it sit?
If you took, so we take in Walking Dead as a benchmark. So we're saying Walking Dead is like number 1 is the bleakest. Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
I'd put it on let's do it the other way around. So number 10 is the bleakest. Number 1 is like Happy Days.
Yeah.
I'd put it as a 6.
Okay. All right. I could do
Because
that.
it's like, there's some rough, because this whole people are working together. People are like, and it's not like, whoa, because like with Walking Dead and stuff, things turn to shit, and suddenly humanity just turns against itself like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The reason that humanity is against itself is because of the political intrigue, not because in fact people are pulling together.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not zombie, it's not the world falling apart turning people, it's the political intrigue already, and that's just like, that's pure politics rather than like bleakness. So it's like, it's not a, that's it. I was done with Walking Dead a couple of seasons ago, because I love zombies and post-apocalypse, but I just like, this is just far too bleak.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this it's fine.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
It's quite intriguing.
Okay. I'm with it.
And then there's one huge revelation which changes everything right at the end, literally the last 2 minutes of the season. You're like, what? Oh, hell no. So yeah.
How long are the episodes?
45 minutes, I think.
Okay. Because the thing I have noticed on Netflix is a lot of their shows are quite, even though like they're sort of, some shows are like an hour or 57 minutes, but what you realise is it is an hour or 57 minutes. So it's not like when we watch a show over here where it's like an hour show, but it's got, I don't know, 4 or 5 breaks.
The short, because it's varied. What I'm finding is a lot of the foreign ones tend to vary. Like I told you about, like the Protectors, I think they just go, yeah, we're done with this one now, let's move on. It's only 30 minutes. So with the Kingdom, the longest episode is 56 minutes and the shortest episode is 43 minutes.
Okay, that's doable.
And I like that because I just find it doable.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah, I can do that, man.
Yeah, less than.
Cool. All right, man.
So yeah, it's been so long since we talked. Yeah, we've hardly got through half of what we wanted to talk about, but that's it. So we'll be back soon. But let us know soon-ish. But let us know what you think. Have you watched any, or have you watched or read any of the things we've talked about? Let us know your opinion. Let us know what you're interested in. You can do it by emailing us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Go to it, people. But until next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.